Hello everyone, I hope you're all fine and fantastic wherever you are, whatever you're doing in this world. My name is Hadis and I'm here to change your relationship with languages once and for all. Alright, let's start. I have a question for you. Are you fluent in your mother tongue? How long did it take for you to become fluent? Were you even aware of the process of learning your language? Did you first learn grammar, then speaking, then writing, things like that? No, you didn't. You didn't even know you were learning. One day you just opened your eyes and you could speak the language perfectly, communicate. The language that you were exposed to, right? So, you weren't aware of the learning process. So what happened? So you acquired this language unconsciously. There's a big difference between acquiring a language and learning a language consciously. So let me start with a story. Let me start with my story. I was 22, young, passionate, energetic. I got hired in a Turkish company in Istanbul to teach Turkish students English. It was my first international experience. I was so overwhelmed but excited, and I didn't know how to do that. The company was Turkish, staff were Turkish, students were Turkish, mostly beginners. No one could speak any English. I didn't know a word of Turkish. So imagine the situation. So you are probably wondering, how the hell did you manage to teach those students anything, right? I was overwhelmed as well. So I remember one day I was teaching and one of the students said something in Turkish and they all laughed. I didn't understand what he was saying, but as a teacher you become really good at learning. You become really good at reading people's body language. And as a teacher you become really good at reading people's body languages. So I knew it, that they were making fun of me for something I said or something I did. As a teacher, it happens to you all the time. Not all students are perfect human beings or perfect students with the best manners. But I was really young and I got hurt, my ego was bruised, and like that. Later on, there was this Turkish guy at our office and he was really rude. And he insulted me for some reasons. And I completely understood at that point that what he was saying was insult. I completely understood what he was saying. I could understood a bit at that point. And I just looked at him and I couldn't defend myself. I couldn't say anything. He couldn't speak English. He was just insulting me in Turkish and I was taking it all in and couldn't reply back, couldn't defend myself, couldn't protect my boundaries. It was such a hurtful experience for me. That night I went home and there was this voice in my head, and I'm glad that voice, I listened to that voice. The voice was like, look, if you don't learn this language, you're gonna lose your job soon, and you're gonna lose your job soon, and you're gonna get treated like shit all the time and you can't even defend yourself. So my instincts kicked in at that moment. My instincts kicked in and they were like, look, if you don't learn this language you're gonna die. Right? And it was a matter of life and death, survival, and I couldn't get what I wanted, I couldn't communicate my needs, so it was really an urgent thing to do, and my mind interpreted the situation as emergency, and my brain functionality changed. That's the interesting part. So I had to learn the language for my survival. My mind automatically switched itself into that mode of learning, there was an urge, there was an emergency to learn that language. So after that night that I decided to learn the language, and I was serious about it, I programmed my mind, I programmed my conscious mind and subconscious mind to help me to learn this language as soon as possible and defend my honor. That was the goal. And after 2 months, I reached fluency in Turkish language. I could speak to everybody. I could even teach English, grammar in Turkish. Students were happier, getting better results. Other foreign teachers were really happier because of me. Right after that, I got promoted to head teacher and supervisor. Right after that, I got promoted as the head teacher and supervisor because I was the bridge between two worlds of English and Turkish. Everybody were happier. Everybody got what they wanted. I got what I wanted. The company was attracting more students, and other teachers were happier. Turkish staff were happier. Everything was working out for the best. Now the question is, how did I manage to learn this quickly in just 2 months? Look, after that night, I told you I programmed my mind, both conscious and unconscious mind, to help me learn this language as quickly as possible. So I started listening more actively. I started noticing the sounds that the people were making, Turkish sounds. I was paying attention to the form of their lips when they were pronouncing some words. And even when I wasn't learning, I programmed my unconscious mind to absorb all the information. I was drinking coffee, some cafe, people were speaking Turkish, so I was absorbing all the information and learning without knowing it. Like a baby that learns by just hearing the voices and sounds. Native speakers of Turkish were really surprised at my fluency, and some of them didn't even realize that I wasn't Turkish because of my accent. So since I was a language teacher, so I knew all the things I needed to know about the language. So I trained my mind to be able to learn 24/7 every day. And I was lucky that I was exposed to the language that I wanted to learn. But the thing is, you can stimulate your brain functionality and tricking it into believing that you are living in that environment, you are exposed to the language. So you can both learn consciously, and acquire it unconsciously. It was much easier for me to learn Turkish because I was exposed to it all the time, and I could absorb information without effort. But if you are not living in that country, what if you're not living in the country that your target language is spoken? Well, there's a way you can stimulate your brain functionality and alter the state of your mind and trick your mind to thinking that, first of all, you really need to learn this language, and the second, and trick it into believing that you are exposed all the time. So your brain functionality and learning goes 10 times faster than the standard and normal methodology of language learning. Hey, do you know why you haven't learned the language yet? By now? The answer is simple, easy, and clear. Because you don't let yourself. Because your mind is on a really lazy mode learning and you don't feel the emergency to learn the language. Because your life is not at stake if you don't learn this language. So I'm here with this new method of learning languages called laser learning languages, which I developed it myself, and it's a recipe and formula from a language instructor, polyglot, and a personality psychologist for you guys to change the way you approach languages and learning foreign languages once and for all. It's gonna change everything in your brain, put your brain on a really fast and sharper and quicker mode of learning. Stay with me. I'm gonna take you through an amazing journey. Stay with me and watch my other videos. I'm gonna explain all about it. Bye.